Archives locates 82,000 pages of Joe Biden pseudonym emails. These are the ones we were hearing about, possibly dwarfing the Clinton scandal. It looks like old Joe has some explaining to do. Joining us now is the man that has the goods on all of this, John Solomon. He's the editor-in-chief of Just the News. John, welcome. John, have you gone through all 82,000 emails yet?
I wish we had access to them. Right now, all we have is a number from the archives. I'm sure it's going to take a long time before the National Archives gives up these documents, but it's a great first step. The Southeastern Legal Foundation joined me in trying to get these documents. The FOIA has been pending for a couple of years now. We're in the process of litigating. And yesterday, in an update, a status briefing, they call it, the government disclosed that, we found 82,000 pages of Joe Biden's private emails in the archives. What does that mean? It means Joe Biden believed he had conducted government business in these particular emails, so he turned them over to the archives. To put that in perspective, at the height of the Hillary Clinton scandal, the one that nearly tanked her, or did tank her 2016 election, a lot of people think, there were 30,000 emails and 55,000 pages of emails. So Joe Biden right now has just pushed Hillary Clinton out of the way, and he's now the king of private email in government.
Well, I'll tell you what, congratulations to Joe Biden for setting a new record. He's done it on gaffes, and now he's done it with emails. Good for him. He'll go down as a historic president for sure on that. Hey, John, what about Robert Hur, the special prosecutor investigating Biden and those classified documents? I would think that he might have an interest, wink, wink, in those 82,000 emails and read a few of those.
Yeah, that's a great question. So those are the questions that Congress has right now. Has Robert Hur ever bothered to look at these? Did the FBI agents who did the Hunter Biden case look at this for any sign of influence peddling or foreign interference? I'll tell you one group that I do think is going to go get these emails, and that's the House Oversight Committee. I would expect a request followed by a subpoena in the weeks ahead. Congress is going to get their hands on this, and I expect that we will start to get some production of these documents early next year. Based on the schedule that the court has laid out. And I'm not sure we're going to get the good ones right away. That's why a subpoena from Congress will be key. But right now, I found no evidence that I can, and talking to Justice Department officials, that Robert Hur or the FBI went through these emails.
All right, John, so let's get to the nuts and bolts in this. Even under 3 separate pseudonyms, the bottom line is President Biden turned these over. So he basically is admitting that he did government work using these private emails, which is frowned upon at best, if not even illegal.
Yeah, that's right. The government laws suggest that you should only use private email in rare circumstances. If you sent 88 or you sent and received 82,000 emails, you're not using it rarely. You're using it regularly. Now, we'll see where the archives comes down from, how many they declare have personal information in them and how much have government information. But remember a story that I broke a few months ago, because I think it's very important. Joe Biden did transmit sensitive information in this private email. I'll give you a great example. The U.S. Embassy in Istanbul in Turkey had determined in early 2014 that an American hostage was going to be released. Now, he hadn't been released yet. Word of this leaking out could potentially scuttle the deal and harm this man's impending freedom. Joe Biden took the information from the Istanbul embassy and sent it to Hunter Biden. Now, we don't know why Hunter Biden was interested, but that's a very sensitive piece of information. Information gleaned from an NBC cable is normally considered very sensitive. And in this case, the safety of the hostage was pending. So that's the sort of thing I think we may see more of when we finally get our hands on these documents.
My goodness. John, how long do you think it will take? In other words, I guess let me ask the question directly. Do you think we will have anything out of these in time for it to impact the next election?
That's a great question, Dr. Gina. I think the schedule is the court's going to look at this in December and possibly approve a schedule for release, which means we could start to see early documents in January, February of next year if everything goes well. Now, there are things that could happen here. The Obama presidency could declare executive privilege. The archives or the Justice Department could come in and say, we want to look at these now. You can't release them. They're under investigation. So there are some potential wrenches that could come in here. But as of right now, the current schedule in the court docket would start to put these on release sometime between January and March of next year, so before the presidential election.
John, 30 seconds or so, but what about, and this is a bit related, the impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden now that they have a Speaker of the House? What's your sense about moving forward on that? Have you heard anything at all about a timetable or what might be ahead on that?
I think you're going to see a blaze of activity from James Comer in a week or so. I think by the middle of November, expect the IRS whistleblowers to come back before Congress with new explosive information about where Hunter Biden's been getting his money since his father became president. That's going to be a new twist that everyone's going to be interested in. And I think you could see some significant subpoenas in the next couple of weeks for documents that aren't being turned over by voluntary means. And so I think those are the big things. I had a story yesterday that a lot of people are looking at. 3 months into Joe Biden's presidential candidate, he got a $250,000 loan from China. That has really piqued the interest of investigators. James Comer talking about that last night.
John Solomon, the man who never sleeps. Thank you, sir. You're the best.
John.
Thank you, guys.